Vashti's been with Gifford for, I would say, the better part of a year at this point. Training, practicing, just getting better and understanding herself and how to use her body as a weapon, which is, it takes some time and practice, and she spent a lot of time in the training room. So what does this training room look like?
I've kind of thought of it more like an abandoned temple, like in a forest or somewhere.
Okay.
So I guess like dust everywhere, stone floors and walls, and very large space.
Yeah. So you're standing there, squaring off right now with Gifford. What does Vashti look like, and what is her practice garb? What is she wearing?
So Vashti is, she has very long hair, so it's put up in a ponytail, probably down to the middle of her back, and it is more of a lighter shade of purple. She's got very light blue eyes as well. Her garments are kind of like tannish, with a little bit of a kind of a black belt, and her wristbands are black as well. So very, very basic.
Mm-hmm.
She likes the simplicity. The less on her, the better she can fight.
Right. Gifford is dressed similarly in the same tan kind of gi, and his belt is a much more ornate. There's like a lot of embroidered things on it, showing his years of experience. Of course, you have to show that off if you're, very skilled. And he holds out his hand, and in his hand he just has an apple. And he looks at you and says, "Again, try to take this from me. What do you want to do?"
I think, gotta look over my character sheet, it's been a while here.
And get as creative as you want with this. If you do something and it's not like on the sheet as an action, then we can come up with how it would work role-wise.
Okay. I guess she kind of starts off in like a bit of a charging position, and has her eyes set on the apple in his hand. And once she has her eyes set, she just charges as fast as she can. Let's try for an unarmed strike to try to throw him off.
Okay, so she's actually going to try to hit him first. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll to hit.
Alright. Ooh, nat 20.
As you're lunging forward, Gifford thought you were going for the apple, so he moved the apple out of the way, but then you just clock him right in the face. We're not going to roll damage because this is just sparring, but with that punch in the face, you knocked him back a little bit, and he's kind of off kilter. The apple now it's in his right hand, but he's kind of stumbling back a little bit. What do you do next?
I guess I would try to throw off his balance a little bit more and try to do like a kind of like a sweeping kick.
Okay. For that, let's roll. We're gonna roll contested dexterity checks.
Okay. What's my dexterity? Okay. That's just a D20, right?
Yeah, it's the D20 plus your dexterity modifier.
Oof. That's a 10 overall.
When someone says oof, it's a good sign for me. He rolled an 18 total. So as you kind of sweep in to try and trip him up, he is a lot faster on his feet. He's figured out the plan, and he quickly hops over it. As he hops, he kind of steps on your foot and stomps down on your ankle a little bit, kind of as a stun maneuver there. But then he just takes a step back, and he extends the apple out to you once again, inviting you to keep trying. What do you want to do next?
Um, so Vashti is kind of a person who just like tries the same thing again in a way. So she's just gonna charge again and try to go for another unarmed strike.
Okay, this time though, your unarmed strike is going to be with disadvantage because he'll see it coming this time.
Okay. Wow, that's a major difference. Yeah, lower rolls on that one.
A nat 1. Ooh. So as you're kind of frustrated, maybe getting a little, what is it? The energy, you're very energetic. So you're diving in, and he's easily just swatting your hand aside. Almost tauntingly, you're punching at him with one hand. He just has the hand with the apple in it, and he just smacks your hand away, blocking your punches, but also saying, like, the apple's right here. What would you like to do next?
Can I try to try a little bit of a different tactic? Maybe jump behind him to throw him off again?
Yeah. For that one, let's have you make an acrobatics check.
Okay.
So that's also the d20, and then you add your acrobatics roll number modifier, whatever that's called.
Okay. Oh my god. Alright, so right next to acrobatics is the +6. I add that, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Alright, yeah, that's a 7 overall. I'm not doing good right now.
Oh yeah, that's pretty rough. It's not the best movement. You're rushing things. He's able to kind of step, keeping you at his side, but this time he strikes at you, swinging with a kick, trying to knock you back. Will a 16 hit your armor class?
Where is my AC? Say that number again?
16.
Yes, that's just gonna hit.
That just hits. Okay, so he kicks Vashti square in the stomach, knocking her back a little bit. And right as you're about to go in again, he pockets the apple and says, "That's enough. One day, you'll be able to take that from me. But not today." What is Vashti thinking at this point? What's going on in her head?
She's pretty frustrated that, like, she hasn't been, like, quick enough fully to, throw him off entirely and grab that freaking apple.
It's kind of this frustrating moment. Even after a year, it's kind of like him saying, you've got a long ways to go, even with all the training you've done. So it's fun that she's frustrated. But at that, Gifford steps over to the side and walks over to the edge of the training room, where he has a small box, just a simple wooden box set over there, and he carries it out and sets it right in front of you. And he says, "You'll get the apple someday, but for now, there's more pressing concerns. This is a gift for you."
Huh? She looks a bit confused at first. Kind of takes a quick look at Gifford and slowly opens the box.
Inside the box, you see a very nice pair of shoes. These are boots of elven kind that he has gotten for you, and they're pretty nice. They're probably styled in a way that Vashti would like. What would that look like for her?
Probably, I guess kind of like a pair of boots that, like, just fits her feet. Also be about, a simple, like, tan or gray color.
Mm-hmm.
Again, simplicity.
Simple, so not fancy.
Not fancy, and
Okay.
not anything to, not anything to slow her down either.
All right. Yeah, so he's got these nice boots. It's time for you to leave, Vashti. I've had a message come in from Weldrake. And Weldrake is a village you know of that's kind of at this temple training ground is kind of up on a hill. Mm-hmm. And Weldrake is down in this valley next to a lake. It's pretty far down there. It takes about a day to get there. And he says, I've had a message from Weldrake that there's an expedition heading out to Merovingia. And they could use some help of someone like you.
Like me? What for?
They have rumors that there's some connection with the dream realm. He kind of smiles knowingly. There's a mountain there. Could be good to look into.
I see. This could be a big lead. Thank you, Messer.
You're welcome. Come back afterwards. But you have a 10-day to get to Weldrake, so stay a couple more days. We'll fill you up with some rations and then send you out.
Yes. Yes, of course.
With that dismissal, what does Vashti do? Where does she normally go while she's here on the training grounds? What is her quarters like? Tell me more about her life.
She doesn't have a whole lot on her. I guess she would say she has like a small like bag or backpack or whatever kind of baggage is in this world of like food, any necessary supplies. Not too much, but always around her neck is her stone. Mm-hmm. That she has received from completing her trial, and she's constantly checking to make sure that it's always on her. It's probably her most prized possession.
Okay. As the day goes on, and you still have a couple days before you have to head down to Weldrake to meet up with whoever you're meeting up with. One of the nights you are sleeping and you have a dream. And it's a dream of your challenge and the moment that you completed it. What was the challenge? What did you have to do?
I guess whatever like challenges that might have been going on, like in her mental state, I guess, would be some challenges.
Yeah.
To surpass.
So you're kind of reliving, you're dreaming about this mental challenge that you went through, and it kind of manifests as an obstacle course that you run through, and you jump over some logs, and you're doing all these things, and the whole time you're dreaming, you're seeing just from your perspective, your point of view. And as you're running along a narrow bridge, you look to your left, and you see a figure running along. It doesn't look like anybody you've ever seen before. More of like a young girl, child, but kind of translucent, as if this is a dream spirit. And as you're running along, and you seem to be in a race with this one, jumping over trees, climbing up a tree, jumping off of a cliff, a whole lot of challenges and things going on. And then you arrive at the end of your destination, and you're surprised in this dream to look up and see you, the physical you. And you look down at your hands, and you realize you're seeing this challenge from the perspective of your dream self. And perhaps a challenge they went through at some point to meet up with you. And with that, you wake up in the morning. What kind of is going through your mind as you get up? And this is the day when you're headed out.
Probably just initial confusion. Like, what could be the cause of seeing the trial, but through the dream self's perspective? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just like all sorts of questions, like what was that about?
Mm-hmm. Perfect. As Gifford meets you on the way out, you have a full pack of rations for your journey. And as he says farewell, he says, when you get to Weldrake, you need to find Alexandrus of the Augury. And he'll have a team, and he'll send you on your way. Good luck.
Alexandrus of the Augury. Got it. Thank you, Master Gifford. I appreciate everything you've done, and I will be back as soon as I can to get that apple.
Very good. And with that, just a simple very good, he walks back inside his little temple and sends you off down the hill. It's a mid-autumn day, just a simple time, another average day in the life of Gabriel in this school. What's the name of the school?
The Tri-Moon.
The Tri-Moon, okay.
The Tri-Moon Sanctuary.
And it's the first thing in the morning, you get up, what do you go about doing to start your day here?
The first thing at the sanctuary is actually the breakfast, where all the students dine in a specific hall.
Okay, what's for breakfast on today specifically, this autumn morning? What do they feed you?
An apple, a loaf of bread, a cheese, and for the ones to each meat a steak.
Wow, okay. So a pretty straightforward, healthy start of the day. You're sitting there eating your breakfast. Maybe you mentioned you don't really have a lot of close friends in the school other than your dagger, which probably you would not be able to take to breakfast with you. Maybe you snuck it in your boot or something.
Or maybe under the shirt in the coat.
Oh, yeah. Somewhere along those lines. So you always have ace clubs with you, but this breakfast is a little different as your mother, Aline Silverstone, walks in and comes up behind you and taps you on your shoulder. You look up and very almost gruff, unfeelingly, she says, Gabriel, come with me. And then she turns and heads off to her office down the hallway. What do you do?
I kind of lean into my trench coat and say, Ace, I think she found out one of our schemes.
What is one of your schemes that you've been scheming with Ace?
Smuggling fruit. Some of the things that are not available in the sanctuary and can be bought on the market but for high prices, Ace and I smuggle in and sell.
Okay. Then do you head off after her?
Oh, definitely, yes.
Okay. So you follow her into her office, and looking around her office, there's no fruit anywhere. But she does have a small leather bag sitting on her desk. And sitting next to her, or kind of joined her in the office, is this older gentleman. He's wearing these very simple robes, kind of a brown-black kind of color, and around his neck is this medallion with a symbol that you hadn't seen before. It's a symbol that has a star or a sun in the middle with 3 rays of light kind of beaming down from it. And the whole thing is encircled by a braided filigree, or a braided, like a Celtic knot. Are you familiar with those?
Like the Celtic runes.
Yeah, kind of like that. So he has that big medallion just on his chest, and as you walk in, he stands up and goes to approach you, offering his hand. Oh, you must be Gabriel. I'm Augustus.
Nice to meet you, Augustus.
Your mother has told me quite a bit about you, and I came here hoping you would join us on a little expedition we have.
What sort of expedition?
Well, we're going to the island of Merovingia. We have some cults over there that are causing some trouble, and we think you might be able to help out with your particular skill set.
Very interesting. As I would say that Ace would probably be screaming from inside the jacket.
What?
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Without giving too much information, Augustus does very well. We're meeting in Weldrake in 1 week, and we hope to see you there. Just come find me, and we'll set sail from there. And then he turns to... What's that?
What kind of troubles would be those cults causing?
We aren't fully sure, but reports have... some of our agents have reported strange creatures in the area causing some trouble. We'll speak more in Weldrake.
Well, then I will be happy to meet you there.
Very good. And he turns to your mother, Aline. See you later. And he heads out the door. Just very short, curt invitation. Your mother turns to you, and she can see the look on your face is just... What are you thinking right now? What is Gabriel feeling?
This would be a fine collection to my adventures.
It
A
would.
cloak.
And she
cloak
recognizes...
The grin, the sinister grin.
Yeah. She looks at you. Well, when he asked if he could speak with you, I knew it was something like this. So I brought you a little present. And she hands you the brown kind of sack. Do you open it up?
Yes.
Inside there's two things. There's this headband, which is a headband of intellect, which you recognize immediately. All the scholars here wear those. It's very common at this at the Trimoon Sanctuary, this headband. But also inside is a small vial, about this big, full of a red liquid.
Do I recognize the red liquid?
You can roll. Do you have a die with you?
I bought this around 3 or 4 months ago, and I've been dying to open them up.
All right. Give
and
me
actually roll them.
an intelligence check.
That's a 4, wait. And my intelligence is a +4, so it's an 8.
An 8. Okay. It's not that hard to know what this is because you've been around here a while. Something interesting about the Trimoon Sanctuary that you know and not a lot of other people know is it's a home of lycanthropes, largely. Everyone, all the scholars have been lycanthropes for a very long time. And many of the students are as well. It's kind of a community here. You have always been the odd one out.
Yes.
Because you're
always
just a
interested about
half-elf.
my part.
Yeah. So you recognize this immediately as a vial of lycanthrope blood. And your mother looks at you, and she says, I know you've been waiting a long time, but wait to use that until you really feel you're ready. That's mine, so when you do take it, you will no longer just be my adopted son, but kind of a real one as well.
I put the bag on the table and embrace her in a hug.
And she hugs you back. It's kind of awkward. She's always been kind of standoffish emotionally with you, but at this moment, like, she knows you may never come back. This is your time to strike out into the world and make something of yourself. And she realizes that. You're a young man.
She may be also hear Ace screaming, yes, 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 yes. From...
Definitely. He is ecstatic. You know about her that she is a werefox. So she has that. She's not one of the more brutish type. You know, she's more prone to intellect and curiosities and things like that. So when you do take this vial, it would essentially apply the curse, the lycanthrope curse, to you. And you only have one use of it.
So I have to be very careful of it.
Yes, don't lose it. Or if you do, that's a whole other problem.
It's a whole nother side quest.
Yeah. With that, you know that the town of Weldrake that was mentioned is a good 2 days' travel from the Tri-Moon Sanctuary by land. So you have a couple more days before you actually have to leave to reach the place. What do you do in the next couple days to prepare yourself and get ready for this adventure?
I would probably read up on possible cults and methods of operations. Probably also on quite borrow a few Demonomicons and read about demons, devils, and other abominations that could be possibly made.
Okay.
Just to make sure if I encounter something I have a chance of recognizing. Also,
Okay.
a quirk of my character is he has a, let's say, okay memory, but he almost always forgets names.
Okay.
So that's incredibly hard for him. He has a parchment and a pen always ready to write down names because it's incredibly hard for him to remember names.
Okay. Give me either an investigation check or either investigation or just a straight intelligence. I don't know if either are higher.
I have a +7 in investigation.
Well, give me that then.
Go bards. A 5 and a 7. That's a 12.
The dice
The
are
dice
not
seem to
helping you
like
out
me.
today. Hopefully they're better when the game actually starts. But you are able to find something really interesting in this book. As you're looking up cults, you're not finding too much about cults. I mean, that's the nature of them. They keep things secret. They don't talk too much. But you do find some interesting entries about a type of demon called the Quori. Quori. And you reading about it, you learn that it comes from a realm of dreams that is very difficult to access, but sometimes they reach out and join the material plane, and there are good and bad Quori. And that's the little bit you learn from your studies over the next couple of days, is just this kind of thing. You don't know if it'll be helpful. You'll wait and see, I guess. But the day comes for you to head out on your trip to Weldrake. A cart is loaded with supplies for you. They've organized someone to drive you like on a cart all the way to Weldrake, so you have a pretty short trip from there. Standing outside the sanctuary is your mother and several of the other instructors and professors you've had over the years that have taught you, and they're standing just as proud as they can be. Is there anything you say to them before you head out?
I would like to actually walk up to one of the professors and whisper something in his ear.
Okay.
To Professor Martin, a human wizard of divination. I would like to whisper him, the key to the fruits is in the warehouse under the 5th rock. You know which one.
He gets a little smirk and he nods and says, "It's been good having you in classes, Gabriel. Best of luck."
Thank you, Professor.
And you load onto the cart. Everyone's waving goodbye. You have your headband on. Do you put it on or do you hold on to it for now?
Well, I'll definitely put it on because more mind power is always better.
Yeah, so you put on your headband and you hop in the cart and you head out on the journey to Weldrake. It's just a nice, calm autumn day by Weldrake Lake, where you're at your cabin. You just finished chopping some wood, because that's what you do. You cut wood, you go inside, you have some lunch. What do you eat for lunch most days?
Usually just trapping small game. He's maybe some mid-size hunting. Maybe he'll go hunt a deer or something, but he's not doing anything too extravagant. He might go into town once in a while to get some provisions. But... Yeah, it's usually small game, rabbits, things like that.
Yeah, a rabbit that you've been cooking for probably the last hour's been just sitting over the fire, getting ready for you while you're chopping the wood. Multitasking, as
Right.
people do when you have nothing else to do in the woods. What does Velsier look like?
Vilsir is a pretty intimidating looking figure. He's close to 7 feet tall, probably about 6'10", 6'11", broad shoulder, barrel chested. His skin is jet black. Hair is a wild ultraviolet color, and his eyes are a solid bright yellow, almost like they have a glow to them. Of course, he's not wearing his armor all the time, so it's usually just in like a tunic, like he's made himself, a pair of leather greaves or something. Nothing too extravagant. He's just kind of at home doing his home business.
Okay. Yeah, it strikes a pretty interesting picture, though, to see a 7-foot-tall tiefling who's just sitting down to have some rabbit on his, after chopping some wood, just kind of a quiet life that you wouldn't really expect from someone of his size. As you're enjoying this rabbit, you hear some sounds from outside, not unfamiliar, the sounds of some wagon wheels rolling up along the nearby trail that leads to your house. What would you like to do?
He'd probably not pay it too much attention at first. He's not used to people coming up to his this close to his place. He might look out a window, like one of the small windows he's got.
Mm-hmm. When you look out the window, you see a wagon being pulled along by a single horse, and inside this wagon are two gentlemen. One is a kind of a stout fellow wearing a robe that you see around his neck is this medallion that has the symbol of a sun with 3 rays kind of shooting out of it, surrounded by a Celtic knot kind of band is just around this guy's neck. Clearly, he's some kind of holy man. At this point, do you remember what that symbol is at this point in time?
Yeah, he carries that same symbol on him all the time. He's never taken that off. He never abandoned his faith.
Religion. Okay.
Yeah.
So he
Still
definitely recognizes the symbol of Nemera.
Absolutely.
What would you do seeing that on this guy?
At that point, he would go out and greet this person. Be opening his door. Hello, what can I do for you?
The gentleman with the medallion would be the one to speak up as he climbs off of the cart. Oh, Velsier! Good to see you again. And you, of course, don't recognize this man at all.
Do we know each other? I don't think I recognize you.
Well, we do know each other, but perhaps you may have forgotten a little bit.
It's been a while.
It has. May I come in?
Of course.
Thank you. And he as he walks in, he turns around and he gives this little hand motion to the person in the cart as you watch this person begins to unpack this crate that they have in the back of the cart. And he walks in and you have he takes a seat wherever is possible. He doesn't even wait really for you to offer him a seat. He just seems comfortable around you, like he's an old friend. Velsier, you would be surprised how long this took me to track you all the way out here.
Well, I have not made it easy for anybody to find me, let alone people from the Church of Nemera. I don't believe... I don't remember your name. What is your name, sir?
I'm Alexandris, High Priest of Nemera, one of the commanders of the augury.
Really? I thought they were all gone.
And he looks a little, sad. They really must have done a number on you. And
They destroyed everything. I don't know. I didn't know anybody had survived but me.
Oh, we're very much alive and well. And he stands up and he steps towards you, reaching his hand out towards your head. May I?
Of course.
And he puts his hand on your head, and in an instant, you have this flood of memories coming back to you of this event that happened in your life. What do you see? What do you remember?
Oh, he remembers joining the augury and just loving the organization he was with, all the people he worked with. He remembers the time that this cult infiltrated and just somehow, he wasn't sure because he wasn't high up on the level. He doesn't really know how they got in, how they managed to do what they did. But he remembers chasing one of them down, and then as he was striking them down, blanking out and waking up in the middle of the field, and just feeling, at that point, he remembers all of his false memories that had been planted in about, him helping them in somehow, and inadvertently, and then, the memory, this false memory of the entire organization, him hearing from somebody else, the entire organization had been wiped out, which turns out this had not ever happened. It was just his one sect within the organization
that was hit
his
by
one
this
branch. Yeah, that was hit. And so everybody he was close to had been destroyed, but yeah, he didn't. He thought it was way larger scale than it actually was. That's kind of what he remembers, that falseness, and now the reality.
Yeah, the moments he had, he just now remembered the moments chasing down this one agent of the cult and trapping them, and then them casting the spell he had completely forgotten. And so now all this memories of things that he once thought or had brought him out here into the woods are just gone. And what you remembered are left with now is this attack, chasing one of these cultists down, and then waking up here in the field and thinking everything's gone. It's all gone. And time to move on.
Yeah, time to reflect, and the guilt that he had been carrying with him for so long, he now realizes this did not have to rest on his shoulders. Like, he was not involved, and now he is one of his, probably a few moments later, he would have just this fury build up inside him. Like, he had been tricked for so long to believe this, so now he is not angry at the person in front of him, but he's kind of standing up and just to his full height, and is just ready to go and do something about this.
Seeing this, Alexandrus looks up. So you're back. And now you remember Alexandrus and the many times you had talked with him. He wasn't a part of your sect of the augury or your little grouping, but he was a higher up leader that you had spoken to several times and had gotten to know. That's
Don't know how I
good.
could have forgotten you. This is incredible. It is wonderful news, but I don't know what I should be doing. What do you need from me?
Well, that's a good question. That's why we came out here. We had actually found you about 9 years ago, but we figured now we can use your help. The Shattered Tower is back, and we think they're up to something. And so we brought you your stuff. And by then, the other guy from the cart had walked up to the door, dragging this crate. and they drop it on the ground and flip the lid open, and inside there is your armor that you would wear when you were at the augury, along with a longsword and a shield. A longsword you had become pretty attached to in your time there, and you had given a name.
Yeah.
What was the name of your longsword?
Wow, the longsword was Assassin's Bane. It's a long sword of warning that alerts him when when enemies are near, and as he reaches down to touch it, another memory comes to him, and he realizes that he's one of the people who was alerted first off from this, and he's like, I tried to stop this from the beginning as soon as they infiltrated, and there was nothing I could do. I was not skilled enough at the time to help them, to help any of my fellow members of the augury, and he's just even more like ready to go and do something.
Excellent. Alexandris, as you're gripping your blade, it's that moment from Lord of the Rings when Theoden takes his sword in his hand and just feels, everything coming back.
Feels his power return to him.
Exactly. All that. Alexandris looks at you. Well, we're having a meeting in Weldrake. We need you to lead a small band to the islands of Merovingia to hunt down the Shattered Tower and take care of them. We figured you would be the best since they think you're dead.
Absolutely. I will meet you there as soon as possible. When is this happening?
In a 10 day.
10 days? Excellent.
So be there.
I will prepare myself.
Excellent. We have to go find the others. There's a few other agents that we're gathering who we think are perfect for this task. We'll see you in Weldrake.
Excellent.
It's good to see you again.
It is. You have done me more service than I have felt in nearly 10 years. What took you so long to get here to me?
Oh, we thought you had gone through enough.
Okay. All right. No, that's fair, I guess. Yeah.
Times change. Now we need the old you back.
How long ago did they come? Did they return? Did they resurface? Was this recently?
Oh yes, our agents reported in to us only 3 days ago that they were showing up on the island of Merovingia.
Okay. All right.
We'll fill you in with more details when we get everyone together.
Will do. All right, excellent. I will see you then.
All right, I'll see you then. And they take their leave, load up the cart, leaving this crate in your living room, essentially. What do you do? What is Velsier thinking at this point? What's going on in your mind?
He's like, there's so much emotion going on in him. He realizes, he's a little confused. He's like, they could have called him back to duty at any time. So he's like, why did they wait so long? And then B, why did the Shattered Tower wait so long to do something? Like, what happened between then and now that is causing this to happen? And he's just running through all that in his head, and then he's just like, for now, because he's a very devout person and he trusts people within his faith, he's like, no, I need to put those questions aside for now. And he takes a knee and speaks a silent vow, a vow of vengeance.